Gravitational force. We have learned that force is needed to change the speed or the direction of motion of an object. We always observe in our daily life that an object dropped from a height falls towards the earth. We know that all the planets go around the sun. The moon goes around the earth. In all these cases, there must be some force acting on the objects, the planets, and on the moon. What kind of force is applied behind in these cases? An interesting story is behind this force. Once, Isaac Newton, when he was sitting under a tree, an apple fell on him. He started thinking. He thought that if the earth can attract an apple, can it not attract the moon? Is the force the same in both cases? Yes, the force is the same in both the cases. He argued that at each point of its orbit, the moon falls towards the earth instead of going off in a straight line. So, it must be attracted by the earth. But we do not really see the moon falling towards the earth attracts everything towards it by an unseen force of attraction. And Isaac Newton said that this force of attraction is known as gravitation or gravitation pull. Why does the moon fall towards the earth? Now let's discuss this answer by the help of an activity. Take a piece of thread and stone. Tie a small stone at one end. Hold the other end of the thread and whirl it round. You will observe that stone moves in anti-clockwise direction. The force is applied for the stone moving around the hand in uniform velocity is known as centripetal force. In the absence of this force, the stone flies off along a straight line. This straight line will be a tangent to the circular path. We can conclude on this activity. The motion of the moon around the earth is due to the centripetal force. The centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth. If there were no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion.
Newton's universal law of gravitation. According to this law, the force of attraction between two particles or bodies is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the bodies. Why Newton's law of gravitation is called universal law? The force of gravitation is the only positive force or attractive force which is omnipresent through the universe. The law holds good for all bodies, big or small, terrestrial or celestial, at all the places and the universe, and hence is called universal law. Mathematical expression for Newton's law of gravitation. Consider two bodies A and B of mass capital M and small m respectively, such that D is the distance between their centers. This is the center of this body and this is the center of next body. So the distance between the centers is D. Okay. Then let F be the force by which these bodies mutually attract each other. Okay. Then F is the force is applied by these two bodies. Action force Okay. We know the force of gravitation is always positive one. It is attracted one. So it is always positive. Okay, consider two bodies of mass m and m, and the distance between the centers is small d, or we can take r. Then the force applied on these two bodies each other, that is F. Then according to Newton, we know the universal law of gravitation. What is that universal law of gravitation? Yes. What is that? The force of every body in this universe attract every other body with a force which is directly proportional to a force that is directly proportional to product of their masses. Here two bodies here, product of their masses we can take m into small m, and we can take it as an equation 1. Then product of their masses and inversely proportional. The force of attraction between these two bodies is inversely proportional. Inversely proportional we can write like this. Inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The distance between them is d. So square of the distance is d square. It is taken as equation number 2. Okay, according to Newton's law of gravitation, what is that? The force of attraction between two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Then, combining these two equations, combining equation 1 and 2, what we will get? F is proportional to m into m by d square. Okay. Then we have to change this proportionality symbol. So next line we can change, replace that proportionality symbol. Then instead of that we can apply capital G, m into m divided by d square. Here G is the constant of proportionality. Here proportionality changed, no? So it is the constant of, G is the constant of proportionality. Okay. Then it is commonly called, G is commonly called universal gravitational constant. G is commonly called universal gravitational constant. Okay. So this is the expression of a universal law of gravitation. F is equal to G into m by d square. From this expression we got what is the gravitational constant. It has been found that the value of gravitational constant does not depend on G. G does not depend on the mass of the bodies. The mass of the bodies B, the distance between the bodies. If it is a terrestrial or celestial, it will attract. Okay, so it is the G, capital G is gravitational constant. It does not depend on these things. What? The distance between the bodies. The distance between the bodies. Then Third point, the medium between the bodies. The medium, it does not need medium for attraction. The medium between the bodies. And also the formula of gravitational force. This is the formula for gravitational force of attraction between two bodies. So how can you find out the formula? With the help of Newton's universal law of gravitation. This formula is applicable anywhere in the universe. So this formula F is equal to Gmm by D square or R square. Okay. Then this formula, it is applicable where? Applicable anywhere in the universe. Unit of gravitational constant, that is capital G. From the formula force of gravitation, how can you find out the force of attraction between two objects that we had discussed? That is F is equal to Gmm by D square. That is the formula we already discussed. Then from this formula we can take the equation for a capital G. Then we have capital G is equal to F into D square by what? M into M. Isn't it? From this equation, force of attraction between two objects, we got the equation for the gravitational constant. G is equal to F into D square by M into M. If there is an equation, then we can take the unit of the particular physical quantity very easily. You all know, first chapter onwards we are discussing. Then from this, substituting the unit of force, distance and mass in SI system. In this equation, what we want to do? Substitute the unit of force, distance and mass in SI system. So we know what capital G is equal to. What is the SI unit of force? Newton. Then what is the SI unit of distance? D square here. So meter into meter. D square no. So divided by M mass. Mass is, SI unit of mass is kilogram into kilogram. So we can write G is equal to Newton meter square by kilogram square, or Newton meter square kilogram raised to -2. Okay, Newton meter square kilogram raised to -2, or Newton meter square per kilogram square. Okay, then these three forms we can write the SI unit of gravitational constant. Thus, the unit of gravitational constant in the unit of gravitational constant, that is capital G, in SI system is what is that? Newton meter square per kilogram square, or Newton meter square kilogram raised to -2, or Newton meter square by kilogram square. We can write any one of from this. Okay. Then its experimental value also there. Its experimental value is experimental value of capital G is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. It's very important. It does not change anywhere. It is a constant. Okay. So, what is the experimental value of capital G? That is capital G. The experimental value of capital G is, what is that? That is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. In SI system, it is what we can write. The value of gravitational constant. The value of gravitational constant. Gravitational constant, that is G, no? G in SI system. In SI system, we know what 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Okay. Then in CGS system, centigram system. In CGS system, in CGS system we had discussed first chapter. System, in CGS system the value is same but the unit is little bit different. Okay, that is a smaller unit we have to write. That is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 8 dyne centimeter square gram raised to minus 2. Or we can write in CGS system, that is 6.67 into 10 to the power, there is a change, minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square. Okay, this is Newton. The smaller unit of Newton is dyne, and what centimeter square is meter square. In centigram system we can write centimeter. Meter in centigram system we can write what? Centimeter. So 6 point in CGS system we can write the value of gravitational constant is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 8, not minus 11, minus 8 dyne centimeter square per, instead of kilogram square here gram square. Okay. This is also we have to concentrate seriously. Okay, SI system and centigram system. SI system we know already, we are applying all problems in this system. SI system, Newton meter per kilogram square. It is, you have to learn this also. Okay, that purpose only I am explaining the CGS system also. Okay, and these are the things about unity of gravitational constant. The force of attraction between two objects is what? Which formula we can apply? Force F is equal to G_mm by d square or r square. Then how can you find out the gravitational force, gravitational constant from this equation? For a what? We have to write the equation F into d square by m into m. It must be kept in mind that the value of gravitational constant does not change anywhere in the universe. It is on account of this reason that it is called the universal gravitational constant.